This past week, I was out with the team for a birthday celebration, and while we were going through the store, we came across some of these items. This is, of course, Pokemon themed. It's branded Mega, which I can't tell whether or not that has any association with Mega Blocks, which is from the same company that makes Lego. I was actually thinking about Duplo Blocks, not Mega Blocks, but I looked it up. Mega Bloks has nothing to do with Lego. They're actually from a Canadian company, but now they're wholly owned by Mattel. It does look like there were some attempts by Lego to try and sue Mega Bloks for copying their IP, but by the time they were suing, Lego's patents had already expired, so they're out there and free to use, and they lost those cases. They did also try to enforce it as a trademark, but trademark really isn't applicable here. So we're going to see what's in here. Now these are two different packages that I got. One is a singular pokeball that has only one Pokemon within it. And then I also got a multi-pack, which you can see comes with 4. So let's see what's inside of here. Okay. I've removed the packaging. I've gotten the plastic off of the Pokeball. Let's open this up and see what it looks like inside. Okay, so there's the Pokemon pieces itself. They gave us a manual for putting this together step by step. I did rip it while I was getting this unfolded, but this looks easy enough. So it lists all the parts on one side, it lists some of the other ones that you can get, and it has all the steps for putting it together. I've laid out the pieces so that this is easier to put together, and looking at these pieces, you can probably tell how it's going to be put together. So according to the instructions, you start with the head first. Okay, so turning the head over, you can see that one side is deeper than the other, which makes it kind of obvious which piece goes where. So let me start by putting this larger piece in place, and then a smaller piece goes on top. And so after the back of the head is put together, there's just a cap that goes on here too. You see this piece is perfectly symmetrical. Okay, now we're going to put the body together. You can see I put the legs and the main part of the body all in a similar spot. So the way that we do this, I'm going to put this face down. Okay, so that's the part where the head and the arms are going to go. Let's go ahead and get the legs put in place. Make sure I have the toes facing in the same direction as the yellow part. Okay, so there's one foot. Let's get the other one put in place. Okay, so with that in place, now I can put the piece that has where the tail is going to go on the back. I'm not really following the order of the instructions, but I'm going to go ahead and put the tail in place. Just put the fire on the tip. Another piece that goes in the other part of the tail. So that's what the assembled tail looks like. And as you might guess, it's going to go in the hole that's there for the tail on the back. Okay. Now he has a tail. The only thing that's left is to attach the head and the hands. So the head will just snap in place like this. Okay, so there's his head. Now he needs to have his hands snapped in place. Left and right hands are pretty much identical. It doesn't matter which one he uses left, which one he uses right. But now that's it. So I'm done constructing it. So for now I'm going to go ahead and put it back in the Pokeball before one of the animals grabs this and runs off with it and I end up with missing pieces. So I'm all done with that one. I've got 4 more to go. Now that I've put the Charmander together, I'm going to put together the other units. Before I do, I want to point out something. While you can buy these individually or in the package, one thing to take note of is if you get them individually, each one comes with its own Pokeball for storing the Pokemon within. If you get the multi-pack, you're getting multiple Pokemon, but you're still only getting one Pokeball. So if that matters to you, get the individual ones. Yes, you will end up paying more, but then you also end up getting your the Pokeball for whatever unit that you wanted to get. So let's see what's inside of here. Here's the contents of the box. So each one of the Pokemon is inside of their own package, although they're pretty easy to tell apart because of course each one also has its own palette. So in addition to the pieces themselves, they do give you the instructions for putting them together. Although just from looking at them on the outside, before even opening the instructions, I can tell that some of them have similar construction, like the Pikachu, very similar to the construction of the Charmander. So I can probably do that without looking at the instructions again. Slight differences here, mostly from the hat, but otherwise similar construction. Yeah, so these are just slight variations of the same set of instructions. So if you've done one, you can probably do them all with very little direction. And then the last piece of paperwork that comes in a box is it shows you some of the other units that you could also purchase. I can see that some are a little bit more elaborate than others here. And yeah, I will not be getting the complete sets because these are just basically going to be sitting as props on my desk. So I am happy with what I have. But for the rest of these, I'm going to go ahead and construct these off camera and let you see what it looks like in the end. I said I was going to do most of this off camera, but there is a piece for which I had to refer to the manual. The parts that go on the left, to the left and right of the face, they are actually little pieces that look to be made out of rubber. And it just gets laid across the bricks and they go in place. I did have to look at the manual in order to figure out what I was doing there. Looking back at the manual now so you can see what I'm talking about. You can see I've constructed most of the body. But on the tail end, there's another rubber piece that I'm going to be putting in place there also. But I'm going to continue the rest of this off camera. Here they all are put together. So this is pretty easy to do and also enjoyable. If you have interest in Pokemon, this is an item that you might want to get. You'll probably see more of these in the future, as they'll probably show up on the desk or in the background of some of the other videos that I do in the future. Now, if you like this video or like to see some of the other things that I've gotten and unboxed, you can find more videos on this channel. Not everything on there will be classified as a toy, but I do have some other collectibles that I'll be putting up there. Until next time.